Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about graphing the three forms. We're going to start with part one, slope-intercept form. So let's begin with that with some review. So as we learned in previous units, this is slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where the m is the slope and the y-intercept is b. X is going to be our input, y is going to be our output. Slope is the rate of change, or the change in y over the change in x, and the y-intercept is the point the line passes through on the y-axis. Now let's talk about how we find slope using the slope formula. So here we see the slope formula, which we're going to use if we do not have a graph to find something, find the slope from, or we are not given the slope. We can use the slope formula as long as we have two ordered pairs. So we're going to do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, because remember it's the change in y over the change in x that results in our slope. Let's put this in practice in example A. So here we are at example A, and it says find the slope of a line passing through 2 points, 2, 10, and negative 4, 1. So we've got our slope formula there where it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we're going to apply that here. So we've got our 2 points. So we've got y, that's going to be y2. We've got our 10, that's going to be y1. We've got our negative 4, that's going to be x2, and our positive 2 is going to be x1. So now that we've labeled each thing, we're going to plug them into our slope formula so that we know our y2 is going to be 1 minus 10. And then on the bottom, we're going to have negative 4 minus 2. So now we're going to run that mathematics. So 1 minus 10 is going to be negative 9, and negative 2 minus 4 is going to be negative 6. Now this is great. We've got a fraction, which is what our slope should be in, but we need to make sure that we simplify our fraction. So we've got a negative divided by a negative, so we're going to have a positive, and negative 9 over 6 can be reduced to 3 over 2. So our final slope is 3 over 2. Now let's take a look at example B. So here we are at example B, and it says find the slope of a line that passes through the points negative 3, 4, and 2, 4. So we're first going to label our points again with y2 and y1. So we've got y2 for positive 4. We've got y1 for positive 4. Then we've got to label our x's. So 2 is going to be x2 and negative 3 is going to be x1. All right, so now that we've got that all labeled, it's time to make our subtraction here. So we're going to be doing 4 minus 4 on the top, and we've got 2 minus negative 3 on the bottom. Well, let's get a different color there. 2 minus negative 3 on the bottom. When we do that, 4 minus 4 is going to be 0. 2 minus a negative 3, negative minus some negative is a positive, so 2 plus 3 is going to be 5. But we're going to reduce anything being divided into 0 as 0, so our slope in this one is 0. Now let's take a look at how we can make a slope-intercept form with using this formula. Okay, so we can create slope-intercept form by using 2 points. First, we can find the slope, which we know how to do. We just did that in example A and B by using our slope formula. Then we're going to substitute one of the points into slope-intercept form for x and y, leaving b unknown. And then we'll write an equation using m and b after we solve that equation, figuring out b. So let's take a look at how we do that in example C. Here we are in example C, and it says write an equation of a line that passes through the points negative 3, 4 and 2, negative 4. All right, so we've got to do a couple steps here. The first one is to find our slope. So we're going to use our slope formula that we've been using the entire time, where we've got y2. So let's label those. So y2, and then we've got y1 over x2 over x1. So x2, x1. So now that we know those, we can go ahead and use our slope formula. So now we know that y2 is going to be negative 4. We've got negative 4 minus 4. And on the bottom, we're going to have positive 2 minus negative 3. All right, so 4 minus 4 is going to give me negative 8. 2 minus a negative 3 is going to turn that to positive. We're going to end up with a positive 5. So we know our slope is negative 8 over 5. Negative over 5 can't be reduced, and we're going to be using that as an improper fraction, so we're not going to be changing that. Now we need to figure out what our y-intercept is going to be. So we're going to pick one of our points, substitute it into y equals mx plus b, and then we're going to leave the b missing. So we've got, let's use negative 3, 4, because that's one of our points. So the 4 is going to go in for y. We're going to bring down our m, which we now know is negative 8 over 5. We're going to plug in our x in this particular case, which we know is negative 3. And then we're going to have plus b, because we don't know that, and we need our y-intercept in order to make slope-intercept form. So now it's time to solve our equation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a wall down from our equal sign. And then we've got to make sure that all of our sides are simplified. On one side, I've got 4. I don't have to do anything there. But I do have to do -8/5 times -3. And I can do that in my calculator if I'm not sure. But I end up with the improper fraction. Again, we're going to be using our answers as improper fractions of 24/5 because we have a negative times a negative is going to be a positive. And 8 times 3 is 24 over 5. So we'll bring down our plus b because we haven't done anything with that. All right, now we need to move that 24/5 to the other side. So we're going to subtract 24/5 from this side and 24/5 from this side. When we do that, these are going to cancel, leave me with just b. And when we do 4 minus 24/5, again, we can use our calculator for that if we're not sure, but we should end up with -4/5. All right, and that gives us our b, but we're still not done. We've got our b and we've got our slope, but we haven't written in slope-intercept form, so we need to do that now. So we know that we're going to have y. Our m in this case is going to be -8/5. We figured that out earlier. Bring down our x, and our b is going to be -4/5 because we know that was our b when we just found that out moments ago. So now this is in slope-intercept form, and we've completed that. So there were 3 steps there. Step 1 was find the slope. Step 2 was to substitute in one of our points so that we could find b. And then step 3 was to actually write the equation in slope-intercept form. That brings us to the end of this problem. It also brings us to the end of this set of notes. If you like this video, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. If you love this video, go ahead and throw us a sub. And we will catch you in the next one.